The rain had been falling since evening, drumming softly against the thin windows of a small apartment on the edge of the city. Inside, the air smelled faintly of soap and warm milk. Sarah Collins sat on the couch, gently rocking her baby boy in her arms. Oliver was 7 months old. His cheeks were round, his eyelashes long, and his cries, tonight, were tired rather than loud. Sarah whispered soothing words, even as her own chest felt tight. "I know, sweetheart. I know." She reached for the diaper bag beside her feet. "Me." Again she checked the kitchen counter. One last scoop of formula sat at the bottom of the container. After tonight there would be nothing. Sarah closed her eyes. 3 years earlier, this apartment had echoed with laughter. Her husband, Daniel, used to dance Oliver around the room when he was just a newborn. Then came the accident. Late-night shift. Phone call. A silence that never truly left. Since then, Sarah had learned how to survive on very little. Money, sleep, hope. Her phone buzzed softly on the table. She picked it up and stared at the screen for a long time before opening her messages. There was only one person she felt she could ask without being judged. Her childhood friend, Maya. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, shaking slightly as she typed. "Hey Maya. I'm really sorry to bother you again. Oliver's out of diapers and milk. I swear I'll return it as soon as I get paid. I just don't know what else to do tonight." She reread it, shame tightening her throat. Then Oliver whimpered again. Sarah swallowed hard and pressed send. She didn't notice that the name at the top of the chat wasn't Maya. Miles away, in a glass tower overlooking the city, Jonathan Reed stood alone, staring out at the glowing skyline. At 41, he had built an empire from nothing. His name appeared in magazines, business journals, and news headlines. But his penthouse was silent. No family photos, no laughter, no reason to cook more than one plate of food. His phone buzzed. Jonathan glanced down, expecting an email from his assistant. Instead, he read the message. "Once." He frowned. This message wasn't meant for him. He checked the contact name. A number saved months ago after a wrong call about a delivery. He had never bothered to delete it. He should ignore it. Yet something about the words pulled at him. How careful they were, how apologetic, how desperate but still dignified. Jonathan remembered being 12 years old, standing in a grocery store with his mother, calculating what they could put back because there wasn't enough money. Before logic could stop him, he typed, "Hey, I think this message was sent to the wrong person. But how much do you need?" He stared at the screen, unsure why his heart was beating faster. Sarah's stomach dropped when she saw the reply. Wrong number. Her face burned. She imagined ridicule, judgment, even anger. He typed quickly, "I'm so sorry. That message wasn't meant for you. Please ignore it. I didn't mean to disturb you." A moment passed. Then another message appeared. No disturbance at all. And no need to apologize. Everyone ends up needing help at some point. Sarah hesitated. Accepting help from a stranger felt dangerous. But Oliver shifted in her arms, his tiny hand clutching her sweater. She typed the amount. It was small. Embarrassingly small. Her phone vibrated seconds later. Banking alert. The money was already there. Sarah's breath caught. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she hugged Oliver close. "Thank you," she whispered into his hair. She sent another message, overwhelmed. "I don't know how to thank you. I promise I'll repay you." Jonathan replied simply, "Just take care of your son." Sarah expected that to be the end. But the next evening another message arrived. "Did you manage to get everything you needed?" She smiled through tears. They began to talk. Not deeply at first. Just little things. Oliver's age. Sleepless nights. How quiet apartments could feel louder than crowded rooms. Jonathan never pried. He never made promises he couldn't keep. He just listened. For Sarah, it felt like breathing fresh air after months underground. For Jonathan, it felt like remembering a part of himself he thought was gone. Days turned into weeks. Jonathan started looking forward to messages that had nothing to do with profit margins or meetings. Sarah sent a photo of Oliver sitting up on his own for the first time. Jonathan stared at it longer than he'd ever stared at a business deal. He told her about his childhood, how he grew up without much but learned resilience early. She told him about Daniel, about love and loss, about learning to be strong when there was no other choice. Neither of them crossed boundaries, but something steady grew between them. One afternoon, Sarah saw Jonathan's face on a television screen in a cafe. Billionaire Jonathan Reed announces new housing initiative. Her heart dropped. Billionaire. She felt foolish. Shame. As if she had unknowingly taken advantage of someone far above her world. That night she sent him a message. I didn't know who you were. If you don't want to talk anymore, I understand. I never meant to take advantage of your kindness. Jonathan read the message slowly, then replied, You didn't ask for who I am. You asked for help. That's all that matters. Sarah cried, not from fear this time but from relief. Eventually Jonathan suggested meeting. Public. No expectations. Sarah hesitated then agreed. They met on a quiet afternoon. Jonathan arrived early, dressed simply. When Sarah walked in holding Oliver, she looked tired but strong. Conversation started awkwardly. Then Oliver reached out and grabbed Jonathan's finger. Jonathan froze. Sarah laughed softly. He likes people with calm hands. Jonathan smiled. Something settled inside him, something warm. Jonathan helped but never controlled. He supported childcare so Sarah could take a better job. He encouraged her education. He showed up. Sarah grew more confident. She laughed more easily. Oliver learned to walk, stumbling toward Jonathan with proud determination. Jonathan found himself learning how to build something he'd never had. Home. Months later, rain fell again. But this time, it fell outside a small house filled with warmth. Oliver giggled on the living room floor. Sarah cooked dinner. Jonathan sat nearby, reading aloud from a children's book. His voice gentle. No grand speeches. No dramatic declarations. Just presence. Family formed quietly. Sarah watched them and felt something settle in her heart. One wrong message. One right choice. And a life neither of them expected, but both of them needed.